I'm Dr. Erin Elliott.
And I'm Jason Tierney.
I'm a dentist.
And I'm a dilettante. And we're going to talk about sleep matters because
sleep matters.
Erin Elliott.
Yo, Jason Tierney.
How are you today?
I'm excellent. I am so excited about this next guest. I did not know who he was before TDS. And so I'm so grateful that you did and invited him on. And as a sleep physician, he's willing to talk to us dentists and willing to come alongside us.
Oh, not just willing, eager. So,
Yes.
we're talking about him like he's not here. So let's go ahead and introduce our good friend, Dr. Shane Creado. Dr. Shane, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here. This is exciting stuff, and more than willing, I'm eager to be an ambassador for the amazing work that you guys and so many other professionals do. So thank you.
So tell everybody who you are and why you're here talking to us.
Yeah, so I'm a sleep medicine physician, as Erin just mentioned, and I've also done psychiatry. So I did physical therapy, medical, then psychiatry, and sleep medicine. And in psychiatry, I got involved in sports psychiatry way back, maybe 12 years ago. And I got more involved in sleep because I realized sleep problems are a major component of every psychiatric diagnostic category. And people were not adequately addressing patients' sleep needs in mental health. We were just giving them Ambien, Trazodone, Xanax, God forbid, and sending them on their merry way. And I thought it was really bad practice, honestly. And so I decided to do a sleep medicine fellowship, especially seeing that even elite athletes in the sports psychiatry, sports world, sports teams never address sleep as a specific tool to boost sports performance. It was more like, oh, yeah, if there's a problem, let us know. But they didn't have the same criteria for the athletes when it came to personalized nutrition or personalized physical training. There, they wanted to boost them. Here in sleep, they were waiting for a problem to arise. And if the athlete reported a problem, guess what? The same thing as what they usually do. Ambien, Trazodone, Xanax, which is really bad practice again. So I thought, let me just do a sleep medicine fellowship. Let me figure this piece out. Boy, was I
Take
wrong.
matters into your own hands.
Yeah. Take the bull by the horns. And guess what? I felt like I was learning how to be a CPAP salesman and an Ambien pusher. And that was pretty disappointing. But I said, you know what? I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to get this additional training. But I'm also going to flesh out my training and practice by learning and doing things I need to do that are going to help our patients. So got more involved in the sleep therapies like CBT for insomnia, got more involved in chrononutrition, in how sleep is impacted by many underlying factors, how it's important to look at sleep quality instead of just the total amount of sleep. And then when I joined the Amen clinics with Dr. Daniel Amen, which is all about integrative work, integrative psychiatry meeting neuroimaging, he hired me as a sleep guy and said, sleep is a pillar of brain health. It impacts all the Bright Minds risk factors for brain health, and we need a personalized approach to that as well. So it's kind of been like my mission, as you can see, right? I mean, one thing leads to another, and then I get into another kind of wormhole of information, and it's overload, and it's awesome. And Stacy Becker introduced me to the world of dental sleep medicine and airway sleep medicine, and it blew my mind once again. And I'm so fortunate to have been part of Transform Dental Sleep in 2025. And you're kind enough to have me speak about the integration of our fields to better serve our patients. And that's kind of like my mission now.
What has been most glaring or stood out the most to you regarding, your introduction to dental sleep medicine?
Collaboration.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a front and, beginner's luck, as they say, but it seems like people in your world, our world now, are very collaborative. They're sharing ideas and what's worked for them, what's not worked for them. And it's a beautiful thing to see. You're also very eager to learn tangible tools to implement practically now in the betterment to better serve your patient's needs. In the sleep medicine world, the annual conferences and all that stuff, it's more along the lines of, okay, CPAP, medications, some esoteric research that's, 5 years away from practical application.
5 years?
And
That's it?
well, I'm being generous, right? And sure, research is super important, and new medication development is super important as well. But are we missing foundational elements? Are we missing the building blocks to better sleep that we're just dismissing because we want a quick fix? Sure, we don't have time. We don't give our patients enough time, insurance reimbursement, all those things. Are they actually handcuffing us, or are they making care more accessible? And so I've been on the fence about that. I don't want to be told what to do by insurance companies, what treatments are okay for a patient, when I, as a physician, I think I know a little bit more than the insurance people telling me what exactly I should do for our patients.
Amen. Preach it.
So you know what? We gotta be ambassadors for our patients first and foremost, and work on developing frameworks that can help one another. And I see it coming together, which is what's so exciting.
And at Transform Dental Sleep, you spoke. The bulk of your presentation was about CBT-I. Yes. So
Yes.
can you talk a little bit about what CBT-I is and why it matters to our audience, who, let's be realistic here, most of them are in dental sleep practices. So what is it for them, and why does it matter?
So CBTI is cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. It is considered the gold standard treatment for insomnia, not Xanax, Ambien, or any of those medications which have FDA black box warnings for good reason.
Mm.
Basically, CBT for insomnia involves identifying things that sabotage someone's sleep rhythms and incorporating strategies to synchronize or resynchronize those rhythms. The circadian rhythm, which is the light and dark, the melatonin and cortisol, and the homeostatic drive, or your sleep thirst that builds up during our wakeful hours. And hopefully those rhythms kind of meet and sync up really nicely into a symphony rather than a cacophony. And when those things are misaligned, whether it's social jet lag or a hyperarousal, anxiety will not make you rest and get into a deep, restful sleep, recovery sleep. CBT-I involves tools to synchronize again. So there's concepts such as stimulus control, which is limiting things that wake you up or make you more alert, like an argument with your spouse before bed, not the best strategy for quality sleep. There's sleep restriction, which involves, this is, somewhat paradoxical, and there are exceptions, but sleep restriction basically says if you're lying in bed for 10 hours and only getting 6 hours of sleep, why are you lying in bed for 10 hours?
Mhm.
Limit it to maybe 6.5 or 7 hours of sleep. So we calculate sleep efficiency, how much sleep someone's actually obtained versus how much time they've been in bed. And around 85, 90 is a sweet spot. If your sleep efficiency is like 99, you're probably not allowing yourself enough sleep. And so you're sleeping for the duration you're allowing yourself. But if it's under 80, you're spending too much time in bed. What happens with that is it's based on psychological concepts, right? So hyperarousal, busy brain, your brain cannot sleep because sleeping is the most vulnerable thing that you do. If you have all these distractions and your bedroom is for the TV and reading and being on your laptop or iPad, you have bright lights, well, it's going to sabotage your rhythms. And what can you do to make your bedroom environment really more sleep conducive? What can you do about a busy brain versus your PTSD symptoms to calm that anxiety down, that hyperarousal down? And then how can you have fixed schedules even strategic napping could fall under that framework
Mm-hmm.
to actually regulate your sleep once again. So it is the gold standard. It is the most effective strategy. And especially for our audience who are in the airway dental sleep world, you won't have time to learn about CBT for insomnia and start doing that with your patients. What tools may you have to first educate our patients about the fact
Sure.
that, your airway device may not be the main issue when it comes to your sleep disruptions or your sleep quality.
Mm-hmm.
It might be comorbid insomnia issues, which of course are driven by many, many different factors.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I got to lecture there on biohacking, which I happen to know you're a biohacker. That could be for later. When I talked about airway first, the second step was sleep hygiene and that sort of thing. But I tell the patients so I can set proper expectations. The goal of the appliance is to hold the airway open for you so then your body's not fighting to do so. But you've had a long history of insomnia and insomnia symptoms. So the goal is that you don't wake up as often. And when you are asleep, it's a better quality sleep. However, because of this long term pattern, we're going to have to do more. But let's just start here. And so with the CBTI, my I haven't sent a lot of people for it. One, I don't know where to send them because that collaborative team is not in every area. And so where can I go? And then the second part of that is how's the compliance? Like, I think do a lot of patients just go, "Oh no, I'm fine. I don't need to do this. This is common sense."
Yeah. So very, very good points. Firstly, you're right. The There's very few therapists who do CBT for insomnia. We're not even trained in CBT for insomnia and sleep medicine fellowship or specialty. So during the couple of months and beyond that I had, so for electives in sleep medicine fellowship, but even beyond for 6 months afterwards, I took special additional training in CBT for insomnia. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to go through a manual, chapter one, let's do this, right? What I do is incorporate those concepts into a program for a patient, depending on their unique sleep profile. But you can find CBT for insomnia therapists if you do a little search on like Psychology Today or whatever, and it says, okay, I'm trained in CBT for insomnia. Typically, it's expensive, right? And although it should be covered by insurance because it is the gold standard for
Mm-hmm.
insomnia, it's difficult. So I don't expect most patients to be able to afford $300 to $600 per hour for around 12 sessions. So one of the things I did was for the Amen clinics for Amen University, I told Dr. Amen, well, okay, sleep is a pillar for brain health. What are we doing about it? I'm just one guy. How can we automate certain things? How can we create systems? So one of the things I did was develop a program, an online program called Overcoming Insomnia for them,
Mm-hmm.
which is a complete CBT for insomnia program, including downloadable forms to fill out and stuff like that. It's a lifetime membership. It's under $300, is less than a single appointment cost,
Mm-hmm.
and it's yours forever. So sleep is like the tides, right? It's up and down. Life happens. Life gets stressful.
Sure.
So if it's a program that you have for life, say it's helped you out and great, hunky dory, and then now you have a new job and there's shift work issues, or you've traveled to Europe and then back and your sleep is off again. You can
Mhm.
just, pick up where you left off and figure out what you need to do to synchronize it again. And to your other point, Erin, compliance depends on how effective we are at communicating the needs to the patient and how committed they are to improving their sleep quality. So it's not always, or seldom, an airway um, or device failure when you fitted it, you've done your scans, and you're saying, well, it's good. It's more along the lines of, as you said, what are the perpetuating factors that are not giving this person restful quality sleep? If you're not waking up refreshed, I don't care if you got 10 hours, it is not a win, it is a fail. And
Mhm.
that's where these tools come along because your brain is now accustomed to faulty sleep patterns or lighter sleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night for a number of different reasons that we could go into, and you can't fall back asleep because your brain is used to, well, worrying, trying to
Mhm.
sleep in bed, and trying will definitely wake it up.
Mhm.
So that's something that they call classical conditioning in psychology, right? If you associate a certain stimulus with certain behavior, that stimulus will perpetuate that behavior, like Pavlov and his dogs with the
Mhm.
bells,
Sure.
and they'd salivate because he'd give them the food with the bell, and
Mhm.
then you just ring the bell and you'll salivate. Well, that happens when we use the bed in the bedroom for all those activities inadvertently, right? Eating in bed, watching TV in bed, being on your devices, or waking up in the middle of the night and worrying and tossing and turning and trying. All those things really create patterns that are really hard to break without guidance.
So I have a pro athlete as a neighbor. I mean, it's just pickleball, but he said I could share a story. Huge biohacker. I mean, like if he heard about it on a podcast, he's done it. But every biohacker I know seems to think that sleep is like not a pillar that's as important, or they're taking the supplements and doing the things, but not seeing any difference. So I did do a sleep study on him. And his complete lack of deep sleep and interruption, it wasn't necessarily airway issues though, but he's like trying to be sober, not take anything to go to sleep because that's what he's been doing, but the sleep efficiency was super poor. He kept getting kicked out. He just has a lot of anxiety is what he's like, I'm just stressed that I'm not sleeping well. So it makes his sleep worse. Is that something CBT-I there's just a lot of sleep anxiety. Is that something
Yeah.
that could help with that? I'm like, get out of bed if you're tossing and turning.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't get
Sleep
into bed until you're
anxiety.
tired.
Exactly right. Sleepy, right? So people confuse tiredness for sleepiness. They think,
Oh,
oh,
no.
I'm going to do a little search and see, well, I need to go to bed at the same time every night. No, your
Mhm.
brain is not a light bulb. You can't just switch on and off unless you had a few shots of tequila, which is a bad idea for your sleep, by the way, for all
Yes.
your listeners. It's about waking up at the same time every single morning. So, yes, sleep anxiety, in my experience, or anxiety in general, hyperarousal, busy brains, is the single most significant factor when it comes to sleep quality. Because anxiety is survival mode. Sleeping is the most vulnerable thing we do. How will your nervous system be able to dial all the way down in order to get the deep sleep that you need? And even if you manage to do that because you're probably sleep deprived, you're more likely to wake up in the middle of the night or the later half of the night because you have more dream sleep cycles then.
Mhm.
And as you all know, in dream sleep, we're burning as many calories as when we're awake. Our basal metabolic rate goes up, our core body temperature goes up, our cortisol, because if we're stressed out, may be spiking earlier and higher. When typically it's supposed to be between 4 and 6 in the morning, it might be peaking earlier and higher. And then we all know in dream sleep, your sleep apnea might be worse because your muscles are more relaxed. All those factors cause people to wake up in the middle of the night as well if they have baseline anxiety. And guess what? Like chronic sleep loss, the cortisol levels go up, which means they're going to further fragment your sleep.
Mhm.
So, yes, CBT for insomnia, specific strategies can definitely help calm that brain down. But one of the important things to remember is, again, there's so many other tools we can do besides CBT for insomnia to help calm the busy brain down. CBT for insomnia doesn't involve supplements. Well, I think supplements can be very helpful depending on the kind of things that are driving someone's anxiety. Do they have ADHD and they're coming off an ADHD medication or stimulant? Is it that they have just a very stressed out life and a busy brain? There's different supplements for that. Are they just restless sleepers? They can fall asleep fine, but they're just tossing and turning at light, unrefreshing sleep. There's different tools for that. But the sleep anxiety piece, I would encourage you to start off with paradoxical intent, telling him what Viktor Frankl did with a patient with severe social anxiety and hyperhidrosis, horrible sweating from his palms, probably couldn't get a date. And he told the guy, well, measure in a beaker how much sweat you can generate and try and break your record before the next party or outing. And he's trying to break his record, like more sweat, more sweat. Guess what happened after a few days? Well, no more hyperhidrosis, because the whole concept of trying to stop it and our subconscious, as we know, computes negatives as positives. So if you say, don't think of a pink elephant, you think about 20 pink elephants.
Mm.
So I think that's where my psychiatry training came into play, where it helps you navigate these barriers, understand motivation interviewing, and really meet patients where they're at, rather than, that whole manualized approach of step one, let's do this. I feel more like I was obsessed with Bruce Lee and still am growing up, right? Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, be like water, it falls
Yes.
into a bottle, you become the bottle. And so we need to navigate based on our patients' needs and also help redirect them when their, stated goals are ludicrous. So we need to keep that
Mm-hmm.
balance as well.
I don't think we've
Love
talked to anyone yet, Erin, on Sleep Matters that's referenced Viktor Frankl and Bruce Lee in pretty much the same breath. Yeah. So, what about a CBT-I skeptic that might say that there's really only a nominal reduction or nominal improvement in sleep latency or sleep onset? I mean, what would you say to that person?
Lies. No, I'm kidding. It could be, well, I would say, are we doing a due diligence? Are we digging deeper? Because again, sleep or any healthcare cannot exist in silos, right? It's all about integration. So CBT for insomnia can address insomnia and improve insomnia in maybe 70-80% of people. However, if we're not getting the kind of improvements we'd like to see, like if you're not getting the kind of improvements you'd like to see in patients after you've custom fitted them with a mandibular advancement device, what are we missing? Right? That's an important question to look at. Is it an hormonal imbalance? Is it chronic inflammation? Is it their pet jumping up and down in the bed all night?
Mm-hmm.
Is it their unhealthy habits? Is it anxiety or PTSD? And now they are afraid of getting nightmares, so they try and avoid the bed in the last minute. Or they have very busy lives or show social jet lag if they're partying on the weekend and sleeping super late. I mean, what
Are you
are we
saying
missing?
social jet lag?
Social jet
Social
lag.
jet lag? I hadn't heard that term.
Yeah, it's something that the what Generation Alpha or Generation X or whoever the younger generations
Yeah.
are refer to, right? So they call orthosomnia for people obsessed with their wearables. I like that one. Or social jet lag is when your weekend schedules are markedly different from your weekday schedules.
Let's talk about orthosomnia for a moment, if we can. I mean, that's a term du jour that's gotten, quite a bit of use. And yeah, I mean, more and
I
more, um, people have gadgets, their Oura rings, their Whoops, their Apple Watches, whatever, where they're hyper fixated on these metrics that these devices are giving them. Those are not necessarily accurate, and in some instances they lead to this orthosomnia. So can you just talk to us a little bit about sort of what your views are on the advent of gadgets and their validity and whatever else?
Yeah, yeah. So I think about gadgets, it's such an important point. Think about the wearables, think about apps people may have on their phones, and you think about their smart devices, smart beds, and all that other stuff, right?
Sure.
So when it comes to the wearables, in my book that I published a few years ago, I devoted a whole chapter to the wearable devices. And I wasn't very flattering in my approach to the wearables, only because they're not very good at determining the difference between deep dream and light sleep. As total measures of rough sleep and wakefulness, okay. But I don't like false advertising. I don't want to encourage people to spend money for something that they're going to get, that they think they're going to get, and they're not getting what they're supposed to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
So when I send the draft over to big names in the sleep world, they said, such a needed book, blah, blah, blah. It's not been done before. Great, awesome. But they didn't want me to write about the sleep gadgets, trackers negatively. And I published it anyway because I found that they had shares in those companies.
Mm.
Needless to say, I still have a few friends, which is nice. Uh, the right kinds of friends, right? Your
Sure.
tribe will choose you. But in general, this whole orthosomnia trend goes along the lines of what I just told you about trying and trying and trying, waking the brain up,
Yes.
paradoxical intent, going to bed or around nighttime saying, well, let's see how little sleep I can get tonight. Let me try and break my record. You know, doing that drops the anxiety from the equation. So a lot of my patients are obsessed with their data. I tell them just, take off your wearable for a few weeks. Just stop. I'm old fashioned. I have a, normal watch, not even digital, and no smartwatch and no smart devices. And guess what happens? It's like that the whole trial and looking at all these metrics goes out
Yes.
the window. Now, it's contrary to what we were taught in the sleep medicine training programs and even in CBT for insomnia, where they say, have the patient do a sleep diary, the one of those obnoxious grids that reminds me of Excel, and I technically challenged, so that would suck.
Yes.
And I tell them, forget about the sleep diaries, forget about the wearables.
Yeah.
I want to know how you're functioning, how you're feeling when you wake up, how you're functioning the next day. That's what's important to me. That's a win. And even with my elite athletes who are using Whoop or the team buys them Whoop or Aura rings and stuff, while Aura may be more accurate than the other wearables as of now, all of them are consumer grade. They don't require FDA clearance because they're consumer gadgets.
Yes.
And I have a lot of my athletes as well removing their rings. Why? Because they're getting better sleep. They're speaking with me and saying, Doc, and they're texting me all their Aura screenshots. Look at this. I'm like, well, how are you feeling? How are you functioning? Feeling great. Okay. It looks like you were getting 7 hours of sleep and feeling best ever. Okay. But previously you were getting 10 hours, 9 hours in bed. And no, I was feeling terrible. So what does that tell us? That tells us that sleep quality is increased exponentially. That tells us that the wearables may tell you about total sleep, but are terrible at differentiating sleep stages. And if you just rely on the wearables to tell you how to feel, then it's like having your doctor go by a lab value rather than your functioning. Like thyroid lab values, for example, TSH normal range is like zero 0.8 to 4.5. That's a massive range. But what level do you need in order to function at your optimal? Again, Jeet
Yes.
Kune Do. What matters to the
Mm.
individual? How are you
Mhm.
functioning and feeling? That's what should really matter, not a checklist like we're robots.
Amen.
Yes. Amen. So I'm going to take this in an entirely different direction, even if it's only just for a moment. You mentioned your book, Peak Sleep Performance, I believe is the title. Yes.
Yes,
And you gifted me a copy a while ago. Thank you. And
you're welcome.
um, just talk to me about the process of writing a book. What was that like?
You want me to tell an amazing writer like an author like you what the
Right?
process was like? Great. Okay. No pressure. No, I mean, I love everything you write, Jason. I just wait for the next time you text me, your latest article or any write up you have. It's
I
just
agree.
phenomenal. Yeah. For me, it was looking at a need again. I've just been driven by need and I find to be deficiencies or gaps in the existing paradigm. And so when I saw that, in this sleep world, in the sports world, sleep was not being used as a performance enhancing tool. And more importantly, for the general population, when sleep is a modifiable risk factor for the 10 most common cause of death and disability in the world, direct correlations with sleep problems and heart attacks, strokes, dementia, cancers, obesity, hypertension, all of those things. I said, wait, sleep is free. It's definitely workable with natural strategies
Mm.
for the vast majority of people. Why aren't we encouraging people to use the tools they already have? And when I looked at the materials, it was just like there was nothing on using sleep as a performance enhancing tool for the biohackers and athletes, and there was nothing to help the average individual guide themselves through looking at sleep problems and correcting them. So more or less a CBT for insomnia framework for anyone to have access to, but folding that into other tools, mental health tools, folding that into supplement options and other factors as well. So that's what made me decide to write the book. And I was trying to figure out whether to have the title for general sleep or athletes. And general sleep, a much larger audience, obviously, so it could appeal to many more people. Athlete sleep, more specific, more targeted, very small audience. But I want to go with the athlete route because when people say, well, okay, this athlete is doing this, I might do it. So in a way, that was a
Sure.
way to get more people to access the kinds of tools I use for my Olympic athletes for anyone to access. And that was a concept. So I decided to do that and put all the information together. And even with the existing data sets that I showed in the book, where it came to the Stanford studies, which are awesome, 30 minutes more of sleep, improving tennis serving speeds or accuracy by 20 to 40%, swim start times by 17%, basketball shooting accuracy by 9.2%. All they were looking at was a little bit of sleep extension.
Mm.
They were not looking at circadian alignment. They were not looking at jet lag mitigation strategies. They were not looking at supplements. They were not looking at synchronizing their rhythms through CBT for insomnia. They're not looking for anything else, but they already found such profound benefits in sport. So my hope was that this book could be not just used as a tool for anyone to access and start today to improve their sleep quality naturally, but to get in with the big players, the investors, the stakeholders in sport, to utilize these frameworks, to build upon those frameworks, to have sleep as a performance enhancing tool for athletes, teams, leagues, and national and international organizations. So that if an athlete is doing something, everyone else wants to do the same thing, so that we could use them to have sleep change the world, basically. That's my
Mhm.
hope, is that if we use sleep as a performance enhancing tool, if we personalize it, individualize it, we can reduce disease burden. We can reduce your risk for heart attack, strokes, diabetes, cancer,
Mhm.
dementia, and that can reduce healthcare costs. I mean, we've looked at the numbers by hundreds of billions a year in
Mhm.
this country alone.
Mhm.
And we're still not talking about it. I actually market one of those golf course or a bunch of golf courses always reach out for you to advertise. And so I do, especially for golfers, if you think about the demographic. And it's like middle-aged man. And I just basically put I did high blood pressure. I almost had an ED ad campaign too, but I went with treating your sleep apnea can lower your handicap by 2 strokes,
Yeah,
which there is research to show that. I mean, you're talking about the peak performer for athletes, like there is legitimacy to it. And maybe
that's
that
so
would
right.
be motivating because you're a psychiatrist too. Could you please give us the secret on how to unlock the stubbornness of men into admitting they may have a problem?
Oh man, wow.
The denial is real.
I think the best way to get to men is through their spouse.
Yeah.
You ladies make it happen, and so a good spouse is very important. I would say that with stubbornness, if we connect the patient's goals to what they're
Mhm.
doing now, right, and see whether it's aligned with achieving their goal or not. So I will speak to a teenage girl who's a gymnast, not about a risk of getting Alzheimer's in 50 years, but about her acne, about her GPA, about her
Mhm.
health, about a risk for injury.
Sure.
I'm talking to a middle-aged guy, and actually funny you mentioned golf because I'm a consultant for the PGA Tour Europe, and you're right. It's like these guys, although they're elite athletes and they do a lot of great stuff now, there's not the kind of approach, and there's less intense a focus on sleep as a health tool and a performance enhancing tool. But for a 50-year-old golfer who plays maybe socially, I want to make sure that they are aware of how it can damage their health, but also,
Mhm.
guess what? Their game can improve, but their playing career can be extended as well. There was another study that showed sleepy Major League Baseball players, 72% of those guys aren't even playing in the major leagues within 2 years.
Mm.
It's devastating to the quality of our lives.
Mhm.
And so, Jason, to get back to your point, that was the inspiration for writing the book. And I thought I needed to take a big chunk of time off from work. And the person who I was with at that time kind of told me, "No, you don't." And she said, "Do you know how to write a book?" I said, "No." "What about mind mapping?" I said, "What's mind mapping?" "Well, if you know how to read a book, write a book. You
Mhm.
know what mind mapping is." And so she brought a big whiteboard and did mind mapping every Saturday morning for a few Saturdays and said,
Yeah.
"Well, I estimate it's going to take you 6 weeks." I said, "I type with two fingers." I and what, weekends,
Yeah.
evenings? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And guess what? I I
You
did
got
it
it
in
done.
6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you feel afterward?
Oh my God. It's like this procrastination, right? This analysis paralysis kind of
Sure.
stuff. And I deal with it my whole I have ADHD. So I have all these amazing projects and I leave stuff halfway and then I procrastinate. I have to do this. I can't prioritize things well. When I get something done,
Yes.
I'm like, boom. I mean, I'm not going to celebrate, go on and party and, yay, I did it. It's like, whew, I don't feel like I'm drowning as much, but it's also,
Yes.
it feels really good. It feels
Yes.
really good. And then you put it out and then you work on the getting it better, right? You work on your own deficiencies. And that's why I encourage anyone who reads my book, hey, give me feedback, give me constructive
Mm.
feedback. Let me have it. I need to know how I can do better.
Mm. So you said that the rate for CBT-I can be anywhere from $300 to $600 an hour, and I'm looking for some free treatment. So um, I run, I run a fair amount, and I sleep fine. I have no problems falling asleep. But anytime I run a race, the night before, I might as well just not even try to lay in the bed because, I might get 3 hours of sleep. And it doesn't matter if I have to be, you have to be at the start line at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. What do I do? The check's in the mail, by the way.
Thank you. This is a very common thing.
Yeah.
There was another study that showed the average athlete loses around 2 hours of sleep the night before a big tournament or game or
Mm.
performance. What I do with my athletes when I'm doing mental conditioning coaching for them, we train for this. I make sure that they practice for this. And how do we do that? We do that by every night they go to bed is just another night. So you'll know that you have a major race the next day. But if you tell yourself it's just another day and you kind of live that way day to day, even before morning training sessions, for example,
Mhm.
you could also do the other way around, right? You could say, well, really put in your calendar and everything that you actually have a race on
Mhm.
Sunday when you don't.
Mhm.
You see what that does to you. So
Mm.
that's going to help modulate your nervous system
Mhm.
to be more efficient rather than going to the extreme. It's
Mm.
normal, okay? It's normal to be in a heightened state. Your adrenaline is going, your cortisol is going. I'm asking you to dip your toes in the water of anxiety and hold them there
Mm.
and let your nervous system recalibrate.
Mm.
Other tools could be sauna use. One study showed regular sauna use can actually improve sleep quality by 83%. In 83% of people. There's also certain supplements, magnesium, threonate, or glycinate. Threonate helps cross the blood-brain barrier, helps with deep sleep. And deep sleep is essential for growth hormone release and healing while you're sleeping. I like ashwagandha to blunt the cortisol spike in the middle of the night. Glycine,
Short term?
GABA.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
ashwagandhas don't use long term.
well, it depends. So I would say look at cortisol levels periodically. And while some of the biohackers say don't use it long term, it can affect your adrenals. it just depends on the individual and how they're doing. But of course, the goal is you need some foundational support like magnesium because it's deficient in most of our diets. And the other stuff you can kind of taper off based on how their nervous system is recalibrating. So, Jason, if you have a race coming up, just give me a call. We'll talk about some strategies to practice every single night. And it's just another day.
Shane, thank you. And now,
Oh, just quick question.
yes,
Where can we find your CBT-I course?
If you Google Amen University, AMEN, Amen University Overcoming Insomnia, it's going to be there. And I could also email you guys links for tools because, as you know, I'm all about integrating and providing you guys in the amazing world of dental sleep medicine tools to have your patients have wraparound services, whether it's supplements, whether it's educational materials, whether it's overcoming insomnia modules and courses. I could send you guys links to all of that stuff.
please do. And we'll be sure
Thank
to
you.
include them in the show notes. Okay.
Perfect.
But hopefully you are well rested because it's go time. We're going to play a little game. Are you ready, Shane?
Yep.
This
Ready.
is the final countdown. All right. So we've got 4 questions for you, and you've got a total of 20 seconds to answer them. Deal?
All right. Deal.
All right. So the first is, if money was no issue, what would your dream career be?
Acting.
Ooh. And next, have you ever been fired from a job?
No.
Okay. What's the worst movie of all time?
That train movie with Brad Pitt. Why am I blanking on it?
I'm sure it was terrible. We'll find
was so
the
bad.
name of it.
I blocked it out.
Okay, good call. And then last, you're about to enter the arena, right? What's your theme song?
Empire State of Mind. Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Kanye.
Yes. All right.
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train.
Trains.
That was the one.
You know, we were going to end on Empire State of Mind, and you took it back to the Bullet Train, Erin?
I didn't want to leave our audience hanging. Empire State of Mind. We're back on.
You could take the Bullet Train there. Well, Shane, thank you so much. I have to tell you, you are a breath of fresh air here on Sleep Matters, also on stage at Transform Dental Sleep. Licia and I are so thankful to have you in our lives. I'm so grateful for your book and all of the work that you're doing. Thank you for joining Erin and I and sharing so much of your knowledge, your wisdom, and your experience so openly with our audience. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I love each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful to be welcomed into your family of dental sleep medicine, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Thank you for having me.
All right, Shane. Be well, my friend. Mwah.
Bye.
Sleep Matters.